Hello and welcome to the crypto dungeon. A little dark and dungeony in my new accommodations here in Mexico. But regardless, we're going to take a look at the crypto markets. I want to take a look at Bitcoin. We have a breakout on our hands, so I want to do a little bit of analysis, give you the pros and cons, what we should be looking for in terms of potential entries and how to protect those entries, because it's not full bull just yet, but it's a positive sign in the right direction. I also want to take a look at some of the major indices in traditional markets, as well as the total market cap and some alts by your request. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the king of all crypto, and that is Bitcoin. Taking a look at Bitcoin on the 4 hour. 4 hour is not my typical MO on these types of charts, but we're analyzing entry potential. So when you're actually looking, when you're doing your analysis on the idea, zoom out, get the idea, understand the macro environment, understand where you are in the market cycle, understand what are the probabilities and possibilities in terms of market direction. Now, we've been in a localized downtrend. It's been a very established downtrend, so we want to look for signs of a potential reversal. And typically, the first sign you're going to get is a break of an established sloped trend line. The next thing you're going to be looking for is a break of the previous high. So let's go ahead and mark the previous high, which is right here. We're below it. Okay, so we haven't broken structure just yet. We've broken the downward sloping line of resistance, but we have not broken market structure. We're still printing lower lows and lower highs. So we need to take that into consideration whenever placing a trade or positioning into something. So a lot of people excited with this break. Twitter's talking on typical Twitter fashion. What are we buying this morning? Blah blah blah, all that crap. But the reality remains the same, and that is that we are still below the resistance of this last consolidation, and we have not gotten above the high of this consolidation. Let's make this a little easier to see. Let's go with something like that. So until we can get above that 43,500, there's really nothing to get too excited about. I did take a probe position on Ethereum today, but a probe position is a small position. It's 10% of my anticipated total position that I'm going to be taking on that trade. So nothing noteworthy, just something to gain exposure and focus your attention. Speaking of Ethereum, let's go ahead and take a look at Ethereum. Kia Ora from New Zealand. Aloha. Aloha Friday. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Taking a look at Ethereum. Ethereum flashed our beautiful green diamond on the Alpha Numerics indicator. We have the green diamond flashing on the 3-day. This is a typical flash that you're going to get at market lows. If we actually do that to Bitcoin, let's back it up here for a second, take a look at Bitcoin. The last few times it has flashed a green diamond were actually the two best times. This is the FTX chart. This was before FTX was popular, but we got one right at the bottom of the COVID crash, and we have not seen a green diamond since. So these green diamonds are powerful. They do represent some serious oversold conditions in the market. I took, I was happy to be a buyer with that green diamond on ETH, and I'm happy to be a buyer seeing us get above that 7 EMA here. So again, small positions. We're not full bull yet, but if we go over to the daily, we are going to probably trigger some bots with some of these moving averages. So potentially we could get some follow through, but the macro idea is still in place. We have not broken any market structure. We don't have signs of a reversal just yet, not until we can get above $3,400 in the price of Ethereum. The assumption is, further downside. It's changing its structure, it's changing its behavior, but it hasn't given us the market confidence or those confirmations that we're looking for. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the major indices. Let's start off with the structure of the total market cap. Total market cap, it's pretty much just mirroring Bitcoin and ETH, because those are the two largest market cap coins by a long shot. So nothing really to report, just that nice little break of the lower consolidation, the first little move to the upside, but nothing that is breaking any sort of structure. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, a nice little pump in dominance today. We don't have our full-blown altcoin season until we are below 40% dominance, currently at 42. We've got a long ways to go before we go full on crazy in the altcoin season, and it doesn't even have to happen. We don't have to have an altcoin season. We could just, this could be the bottom. We rally from here and we go into an altcoin bear market and everything's just Bitcoin. We're at an inflection point in the market. We need to watch for these signs to, confirm our positions, either bullish or bearish. Taking a look at the NASDAQ, heading onto the traditional side of things. Let's turn the alphanumerics on. Or off rather. Actually, I had some drawings marked here. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ over here. We have broken market structure in traditional markets. This is the NASDAQ breaking market structure with a bearish test underneath the previous support, now acting as resistance. So we are not decoupled from traditional finance. We need to take these things into consideration. We have glimmers of bullish price action, but honestly, there's really nothing to get too excited about. There's nothing to get too exposed over. There's still a lot of bearish narratives and bearish technicals that we could point to that would have us be hesitant with any sort of price action. And this same thing is seen whether you're looking at the S&P, same structure. We broke our support. We're now having a bearish test underneath the S&P. The only one that doesn't have that is the Dow Jones. Dow Jones did get some wiki action below the previous low, but we did not break market structure on the Dow Jones. And if we go ahead and take a look at the Russell 2000, very clean kind of distribution structure, showing a break below the support and uneven, not even able to get to the underside of the previous support. So do be careful out there. There's plenty to be worried about from a structural technical point of view in traditional finance as far as the indices are concerned. But we are seeing some glimmers of hope in crypto land. Speaking of glimmers of hope, to all my Axie Infinity fans out there, we had some economic adjustments to the world of Axie Infinity. They have reduced a lot of the ways that you can earn SLP. I think that this is a really good thing, okay? If we zoom out on the price of SLP here, zoom way out, I mean, it looks as dead as it can get. It's really been nasty for any managers out there. It's been nasty for anybody trying to play to earn using SLP as any sort of income. It's been very competitive in the arena because a lot of the people that just have shitty Axies are not in the arena. So we've had an economic adjustment to the SLP emissions. Adventure is out. There's no mining, there's no farming of SLP at all in adventure mode. You have to play another individual. You can no longer earn SLP playing a computer. This will help with bots. This will help with a lot of things as the adventure mode was accounting for 44% of the SLP that was being minted. So kudos to the Axie Infinity team for shutting off that tap. I know that it's going to be kind of short-term painful for the scholars. It's kind of, I'm sure they feel as though they're being kicked while they're down because the price has just been grinding to the downside. Now they're earning less SLP. Trust me, if you were a scholar playing Axie Infinity, this is a good thing. This is kind of the first step towards recovering the price and getting to something a little bit more sustainable from a profit point of view. We could be looking at getting us back up to, 5 cents, 10 cents, something within that range, and possibly even a speculative rally as a result of that. Let's take a look at AXS. AXS is the governance token of Axie Infinity. I'm still wanting to see it come a little bit lower, but what I want doesn't actually have to happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down to around $25, but again, that's just my hopes and dreams. That has nothing to do with what could pan out if the market does begin to turn. Let's take a look at the DXY. DXY is looking a little choppy, a little shaky. For those who don't know, the DXY is the US dollar currency index. It is the strength of the dollar compared to a lot of the other major currencies out there. And it's pretty choppy. It's kind of showing a little bit of distribution. We had a very long rally here, very long and sustained rally to the upside here. And now we're getting a little choppy, showing signs of distribution. So we could begin to see the beginnings of a reaction to the downside in the dollar. Now, a reaction to the downside in the dollar just means that the dollar is weakening, and as a result, the comparative to a lot of other assets that use the dollar as a comparative, they will begin to rally, not because they're necessarily increasing in demand, simply because they're comparative is weakening in price. So I would like to see that, because this is typically good for Bitcoin. When the dollar is losing strength, Bitcoin is earning. All right, not a ton of action in the chat. It's looking like I didn't make it to Twitch somehow. That is okay. We'll do it for the YouTube crew today. Drop your tickers. What do you want to see? What's of interest to you lately? Let's take a look at some of these other ones that have been performing. Let's take a look at some of the top performers. Twitch is on. Oh, good. ETH is up 10%. It's nice. Feels nice. It's been a grind. It's been a grind. Avalanche up 11%. Matic up 8%. Trader Joe up 10%. Trader Joe, to all the Americans out there, you get it. You know, Trader Joe's a dope grocery store. It just, anytime I hear Trader Joe, I think of the grocery store, Trader Joe, and I think of pumpkin spice everything. And yeah, I don't know. I just think of Trader Joe when I hear that ticker. Oh, we made it. Good. Rook up 22%. M Stable up 17%. These are some of, Rook I'm not in, but M Stable I'm definitely in. I've been a long-term investor in M Stable. I think it's really undervalued. Stablecoins are kind of the lifeblood of DeFi, and mitigating stablecoin risk is really important. We're looking at Keeper DAO right now. What I'm talking about is M Stable. Mitigating stablecoin risk is really important for DeFi to be able to survive any sort of regulatory uncertainty or any destabilization of some of these stablecoins. They aren't actually dollars. They're just deriving their value based on a dollar. So we do need to make sure that they're able to maintain peg. And what M Stable is doing is they're collecting all of them. What do you got? What do you got as far as a stablecoin? We'll take it, we'll pool it together, and we will diversify the risk. So one M Stable or one M USD represents the diversified portfolio of all of these pools, so that, if one fails, the M Stable currency, the MUSD, doesn't fail. It'll be harder for it to lose peg. Taking a look at Luna. Luna, where do I keep Luna? Where do I keep Luna? Just did some rearranging. Is Luna not on FTX? Well, Luna's not on FTX. Probably why I don't have it listed. But yeah, let's take a look at Luna here. So Luna, I'm not a huge fan of this chart, to be honest with you. Luna got a lot of hype. It's got some serious momentum to the downside. If we are to bounce, we would be looking at the area that it's in right now. However, if it begins to lose this, we'll see it at 20 bucks. Now, I'm not saying it's going to 20 bucks. I'm saying if we lose this level at around 45 to $40, there's going to be a pretty substantial rush for the exit, and there's not going to be a ton of liquidity coming in until we're looking at this general area around $20, the previous kind of structure that's been built. Luna's an interesting one though, so it's going to rely heavily on the adoption of UST. As long as there is a continued adoption of UST, that should override any of the speculative demand that's occurring inside of Luna. But if that begins to wane, if there's more drama that's pointed towards the UST stablecoin, that's going to further the sell pressure that's attached, that's outside of speculators, outside of position sizing. That's just the facts of how Luna operates as it mints and burns UST. It's just going to do what it does. Luna won't care whether we're a fan of its chart. It's most likely going to mark up heavily. See, this is kind of the sentiment that I'm talking about. You do have to be careful with thinking that you have to be careful with having conviction, because that narrative has been going on for a while. Now, I understand what you're saying. I understand where you're coming from because of the fact that stablecoins are in such high demand. We can expect that if UST is in high demand, The speculation doesn't matter. There's going to be enough demand, there's going to be enough burning of the supply that we can see markup. But you can't rest your laurels on that. You can't just expect that to be the case all the time. There are whales in these ecosystems that can move these markets. And if there isn't enough demand for either the Luna itself or the UST token, then I would not be surprised to see lower levels. But I don't want to stand here and just, be a complete bear about Luna. Don't like the chart. We're sitting on support. So if this support holds, this would be the area where we would pivot and see a markup event. So just watch this area. If we start to break below this previous low, let's keep it really simple. Actually, let's delete all this. If we break below this previous low where it pumped, just be careful. Be careful, because that's not showing any sort of glimmer of health or strength. All right, you guys just want to look at Luna and that's it? Usually I'm getting spammed with tickers. I guess people are just stunned and confused as to what's going on. What do you mean Bitcoin's bullish? What do you mean we're having a 5% move? What's happening? So yeah, like I said, price of Bitcoin, we do need to get above this. We're underneath resistance right now. Like I said, I took a probe on ETH, but I took a probe on ETH underneath some pretty substantial resistance. So, we can definitely fall down below this point. Invalidation for this trade would probably, not invalidation for the trade, but watch for some support down here at around 37. Not saying it has to hit 37. We've had a nice little localized trend breaking through this resistance that could easily carry through. But just do watch that area. We could see a ton of orders in that area. If price behaves and price maintains that level, it's looking really good. Looking really good. Avalanche and Vechain. AVAX is having a good day, but I still think that Avalanche is going to be in accumulation for a while. Yeah, it's kind of, it's got a lot of user adoption, a lot of applications, developer adoption. There's a lot going on that I like about Avalanche, but it doesn't, altcoins are not full on right now. You can see that based on the dominance, right? If we go back to Bitcoin dominance, everybody's watching the macro cap coins. If we continue to flip the structure, continue to flip structure to the upside, then of course we're going to be risk on with the altcoins. But the only thing that's moving considerably, or the only thing that's moving confidently, or the only reason the space is moving, I guess is the best way to word it, is because Bitcoin is moving. So going back over to Avalanche, we'll probably see a little bit of accumulation here. People may or may not get freaked out by a head and shoulders formation as we consolidate in this general area. Don't ever fall for that kind of stuff. The head and shoulders, it really doesn't matter. Everybody points to a head and shoulders all the time. If we do break down below this key level, again, it's kind of similar story to Luna. Just an area to watch out for is that $60 to $55 level. If we break below 50 bucks, could get ugly for Avalanche, but I don't see that happening. I think that Avalanche is a very strong project. Let's take a look at Vechain, one that I never look at. Usually I only trade on DEXs and FTX. So it's not on a DEX, an Ethereum DEX, and it's not on FTX. I don't give a fuck. Nice long-term accumulation here on Vechain, though. This is what you want to see. So, Vechain, it's one of those projects that does get a lot of hype. There's a lot of backers. It's one of those large communities. It's kind of like XRP or Cardano. It's got a huge following behind it. And look at this floor. Like, where that price is just respecting the floor quite considerably. This is the range. We're at the bottom of the range. If you're a Vechain investor, not financial advice, nothing here is financial advice, but if you're a Vechain investor and you've been holding and your plan is to hold for a while longer, this is looking like a good spot to pick up some VeChain. Right around 5 cents, nearly 6 cents here on VeChain. So right at a beautiful support level. This is what you want to see. Again, the market's working against us in these kind of higher risk plays, but yeah, it's definitely looking like we're at a support level. Let's see what Alpha Numerics says. Curling to the upside, getting above the getting above the weekly EMA. But yeah, it's looking good. Telos. That one just kind of, I believe you guys may have heard me say, pay attention to any of the EVM compatible chains. And Telos is kind of showing us why you need to pay attention to these Ethereum compatible chains. Oh, you missed it. You missed it. That's a hell of a move. Hell of a move. There's nothing responsible about entering at this level. If you know what you're doing, you know how to trail a stop loss. You're in no man's land right now. It can absolutely take off beyond this point, but you know, you missed a good chunk of the move, right? Let's see if we can find on KuCoin. Kind of an up-thrusty sort of action. Let's erase all this shit. Yeah, I mean, we're in no man's land. I don't know where you can really look for safe entry. We're up against a resistance right now. Be careful. If we break out above and consolidate above, get something like this, where we can build some structure, a nice clean support / resistance flip where we've overtaken a resistance and we, you know, chop holding it as support. Now we got something to play with, but right now we're on a huge extension. Huge extension here. So what is the, let's get rid of that. From the moment of the breakout, we're up 100%. People are going to take profits. We're up 100% below resistance. People are likely going to take profits. So do be careful out there. But yeah, it could absolutely begin marking up from here as well. It's kind of early. There's not a lot of people talking about it. So, you know, it's definitely a potential. So you do you. Good morning, Patty. Upgraded your team there for one of my scholars. So you need to help her because she's got the same team as you. Help her with that jumping poison team on Axie Infinity. More or less the same team. I think you guys have different tanks, but yeah, the SLP is looking good. I like where we are with the economic adjustments. So hang in there, keep grinding away. I know you're making less SLP, but keep grinding away. What is Telos? Let's take a look at Telos on here. Oh, by the way, if you guys are interested in the Alpha Numerics indicator, go to alphanumerics.com. Or there's a link in the description of the YouTube channel. I'll have to actually, let me just drop it in the chat for the not the Discord, for the people on Twitch. Check out the alphanumerics.com and get your hands on this fantastic indicator. Bullish, bearish, take profits, invest signals. If you're a high time frame investor like I am, if you're a high time frame trader, if you like to stick around the daily or the 3-day or the weekly, if you play with equities at all, these high market cap coins, this is a must. This is a must. Up 14% on the day, and we've just been continuously rallying here on Telos. It's done a lot of markup. Yeah, it's done a lot of markup. I wouldn't be buying this personally. Sometimes you just gotta let shit go. It doesn't mean it's a tough one because, you know, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on camera, I'm recorded saying sometimes you just gotta let shit go, and then you give it a month and it 10x's. I can't see into the future, but what I can do is I can make decisions that help protect my portfolio against risk. And something that's had a very large markup, something that's underneath resistance, something that's just shooting straight up from here, it's not the best entry. So, you know, when I say it's not the best entry, that doesn't mean I think it's gonna go down. That means that I don't know how to enter into this in a way where I can mitigate risk, have a stop loss that is placed appropriately so that I don't get stopped out and then it just takes off. It's just too hard to take a position in something like this. If you're gonna be using the Telos network, if you're gonna be using the sidechain, then just fucking buy some Telos. It doesn't matter, you know? Just don't look at it as a way to make money. Figure out why everybody's piling into it. Jumping Poison is the best team. You're very welcome. Blocktopia. What is this? What is this? Hell of a drawdown. Hell of a drawdown. Oof. Don't know where you bought, but a hell of a drawdown. What is this, metaverse thing? What is Block? So many blocks. Oh, just Block. Blocktopia. What does Blocktopia do? Feels like a metaverse. Sounds like a metaverse. Looks like a metaverse. Load, damn you, load. Okay, decentralized metaverse, built and backed by Polygon. So these metaverse plays, in my opinion, are really fucking simple. They're really simple. Go and play the game. Go and play the game. See how you can earn inside the game. Are people making money flipping the NFTs? Are people making money earning the in-game assets? Are people making money, staking inside the game? What are people doing inside the game that is attracting people to it? When I look at the chart, don't fucking buy a block. It looks like shit. Once we start breaking some of the structure and break the downtrend, anything metaverse I'm pretty bearish on right now, with the exception of the economic adjustments that Axie Infinity did. Who knows, maybe we can change the trend in Axie Infinity and metaverse will go on a whole new cycle as a result of that. But you really need to analyze the fundamentals of these games. Understand what's drawing people in, understand why people are piling into this game. What is it? If it's the NFTs, don't buy the token, focus on the NFTs. If it's the in-game asset, figure out how they're farming that asset. Just buying a token, whether it's a governance token or what, there needs to be a really good reason to do that. So do some fundamentals. Get in there, do some fundamentals. I can't really give much more advice with the play to earn, the metaverse type stuff. A mention to own. Absolutely. So regardless of the price, everybody thinks all of these forks, all of these high yielding DAOs are dead. I do not agree. I do not agree in the slightest. So here's what happens. This is what qualifies for killing a project. Price and sentiment. People piled in. We had a 96% retracement from the previous high. 96% retracement. There's a lot of people that are going to say that's dead. To me, it's about what Ohm is doing for DeFi. It's not for your wallet. They're tricking you. They're building a treasury. I'm still incredibly bullish on Ohm. For me, as far as long-term investments, I have Bitcoin, I have Ethereum, and I have Olympus DAO. Like, that's it. Those are my core cryptos. I'm still incredibly bullish on Olympus DAO. And nothing's going to change. I watch that team work. I watch how fast they develop policy. I watch how fast they move in this space. And I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, let all the people give you all the drama, give you all the reasons as to why these high yielding DAOs are dead. Let them do it. I'm just going to continue stacking because I have a lot of confidence. Now, not financial advice. We're talking about an asset that's retraced 95% here. But go do your research. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself, I thought Olympus DAO was a Ponzi scheme. I thought Olympus DAO was a scam. You haven't done enough homework. I went to Olympus DAO to try and prove it was a scam, and I walked away thinking that it's a top 3 crypto. You need to really understand how DeFi liquidity is organized. You need to understand why it's not a sustainable model. And you need to understand what Olympus is trying to do to fix it. If you can crack that code, you'll see why this is such a good project. Is there a trade on right now? No, there's no trade on right now. It's got a ton of selling pressure built into the protocol. There really isn't much of a trade with Olympus in most circumstances. I actually expect the price of Olympus to go much lower down the road. So why would I invest in it? Because of the index, because of the rebasing, because of the growth inside of the structure of the geome wrapper. So if none of that makes sense to you, do yourself a favor, do some research on Olympus DAO. I'm still incredibly bullish on this one, incredibly bullish. Meanwhile, it's just dumped. Anybody that followed me, I'm sorry, but I'm still bullish. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Okay, well, I can finish up my thought here on Blocktopia. What you're looking for is we got to overtake resistance. Right now we're below. We need to get above. So you see a clean break above 4 cents in Blocktopia. The trend is changing. Observe, make sure that you're scaling in, don't go too hard, and make sure that you can kind of protect yourself with a stop loss. Also figure out what this coin does. What does the token do? What is its purpose? Is it for, I'm just taking a shot in the dark here. There's a lot of these tokens that are used for breeding, like Axie uses VIS for breeding. Axie Infinity uses SLP for breeding. Is it a consumable? Is it a governance token? What does it do? Because 98% of crypto is just bullshit that doesn't do anything. Full stop. It's just bullshit that doesn't do anything. You'll have to make note here of the volume. Volume's abysmal. There's no spike in volume. There's a little pump in the price, but it wasn't followed up with volume. So it's just the way the order books are structured. People are getting bullish and they're buying Blocktopia, but there's no market confirmation that this is ready to go. Atom, that's a good one. I mean, it's a good project. Let's take a look at the chart. Yeah, we had our retracement. I was saying likely, when we were up here, we were underneath resistance. Watch out for a retrace. We got that retrace. Currently, it's at a higher low. So we do have a higher low in the price structure. This is good. It's consistently printed these higher lows. So that trend hasn't broken. We're just working on breaking through this resistance. This is actually a pretty simple chart. Just watch this area right here. You get a break above this, it can be really good because we're seeing a ton of resistance at this level right above $45. So as long as we can maintain structure, this is an ascending wedge, right? This is an ascending triangle formation. So anytime you're at the bottom, if you're an investor and you want to take on a little bit more risk, you can buy near the bottom here. And then if you miss it and you didn't take a position down here and we find ourselves on top of the resistance, not just breaking out, not just a breakout, because you can get fake out breakouts, but an actual structure being built, proving that we've had a support / resistance flip. Well, now we've got something and this will probably rally. This is a category in crypto that hasn't really had this kind of hype cycle. So these layer 2s, these atomic swaps, the ability to take, native Ethereum and trade with native Bitcoin or native Cardano, and I don't know if Cardano is hooked up, but what they're trying to solve is the interoperability between chains. Right now, there's a plethora of ways that you can trade different assets on Ethereum in their wrapped versions. So you'll have wrapped Bitcoin, there's even wrapped Cardano. You can wrap all of these coins that peg their value, but you don't actually hold them on the native chain. ThorSwap is another one that does this as well. So these are two big ones to watch out for potentially in 2022. If we do get a rally, watch out for Atom, watch out for Thor. Doge USD, first time viewer. Yeah, let's take a look. Where do I keep that one? Where do I keep that one? Ah, yes, scams that pump hard. Here it is. I totally stole that from Cold-Blooded Schiller. Don't hate me. He's just, I love his sense of humor. Dogecoin. So scams that pump hard. This thing, when it goes, it goes. And that's because it's a Bitcoin fork. It operates the same sort of way as Bitcoin. It's not used as a consumable. It's used as a medium of exchange. And those types of coins, those mined proof of work coins, are actually pretty easy to move into markup. Or when they are in markup, they move pretty well. Currently, we're underneath the very long-term trend line here, very long-term structure. So, you know, more of the same is assumed. We don't have a pop in the volume just yet. We don't have anything that's really signaling that this is ready to reverse. What you're going to be looking for in terms of a reversal is, you know, first confirmation would be getting above 18 cents. Seeing Doge above 18 cents with volume, watch the volume too. You see how it's just a decrease in volume overall. There's a few pops of volume, but nothing really substantial. The overall trend of the volume is down, meaning that trading activity is declining in the context of a downtrend. It's not good. We need to repair the trend. We need to start getting the market interested again. We need to get the speculators back in. We need to get the people trading futures on it again. We need to get all of that trading activity, that high volume, so that we can blast through the order book and send it into the markup phase. So as it stands right now, I mean, you could take a position if we go down to the 4 hour. It's a high risk position. You're going against the trend. So not usually advised. But if you're dead set on buying Doge and you won't buy anything else, I don't know anything about you. You're just a name tag. You know, just have your stop kind of below the structure, or keep it really tight stop. You might even want to keep it down here, but even that is kind of a thick move, thick and juicy move. It's like 10%. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk. Fundamentally, Doge is kind of weak, in my opinion. You know, a lot of people, I see it on Twitter, they say it's the people's money because Bitcoin's too expensive. That to me doesn't really make any sense because, you know, Bitcoin has small denominations called Satoshis, and the Satoshis are way cheaper than Dogecoin. It's $0.0007 for a Satoshi. So, you know, it's much cheaper to buy sats of Bitcoin, and that's kind of the unit of the account. That's the denomination value of Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a whole anything. So that kind of is a weak narrative. But yeah, Doge pumps for sure. Doge goes for it. I just don't see that happening right now. Don't see it happening right now. Could you run through what you look for to take a good trade? Yeah, so it's basically, you want to look at the market conditions. So our shining star, our glimmer of light here is Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's not cooperating, don't fucking waste time with altcoins. You're not going to open fresh new positions with altcoins when Bitcoin's trend is down and there's just a lack of demand in the market overall. If we go back over to total, what's the volume doing? Turn the volume back. Oh, the volume's acting all weird. Oh, there's an anomaly in the volume. Wonder why. Anyways, what's the volume doing? If the volume is continuing to go down, there's less and less interest, there's less and less trading activity, there's less, you know, liquidity to go through the order book. So don't work against the trend. But, you know, if we're talking in the context of an altcoin, make sure that Bitcoin dominance is dropping. Make sure that the altcoin sector is doing well. Make sure that you're seeing follow through in altcoins, and make sure that Bitcoin's in an uptrend or trading sideways after an uptrend. These are the types of things that you need to have a successful trade. And then beyond that point is just laddering in. So when you're unsure, take a small position. When you become more sure, take a larger position. When you become even more convicted to the direction, get your full position in place. That way, if anything reverses on you and you're wrong, yes, you still have exposure, but you know, you're not going to suffer that same loss, and it's easy for you to flip your bias and change your decision and protect your positions. We're getting real close. I can feel it. The traditional finance does not show it to us, but I'm getting kind of excited. What are your thoughts on the Sol FUD? Yeah, so Solana, it's funny how the FUD comes out after a large extension. Solana fucking mooned. Solana mooned, a bunch of people bought the top, and then nobody bought anymore. So what happened? It fell. And I was looking at this area for it to fall to. I was looking right around the $80 mark. It bounced right off the 80. And we'll probably trade sideways here for a bit while that FUD kind of calms down. There's the whole wormhole thing. Guys, like fucking, the exploits, there's always exploits. And it's funny because the exploits always seem to occur after we've had a parabolic rise, after we've had, a huge markup event. It's a little fishy. It's a little fishy. So yeah, there's an exploit with the wormhole. There's a whole bunch of FUD saying that it breaks down all the time. Listen, I'm almost an Ethereum maximalist when it comes to smart contract platforms. I like other chains that communicate with Ethereum. If there's one chain for me to look at that I think is a high quality product that is not Ethereum compatible, it's Solana. Solana is a great product, full of applications, full of sexy marketing, full of a really hyped NFT market. There's a lot of check marks that make Solana a good product. Cheap transactions, really cheap transactions, fast throughput. It's a fantastic blockchain. Let the people FUD, man. Let the people FUD. It's time to be accumulating Solana for sure. Very fishy, 100%. Okay, A gold. A gold. What the fuck is A gold? A gold. It's on FTX. Venture gold. Another metaverse play. Yeah, I mean, metaverse is struggling, right? We're getting close to a bullish sign. We did kind of break the structure here, but we haven't broken the structure past 220. I don't know what this project is, but judging by the name Adventure Gold, I'm going to say that it's a metaverse project. So it's very important to analyze how much or how easy it is to get these assets. So if you're playing the game, how much Adventure Gold are you getting? Because what you don't want is to have the in-game economy be unbalanced and end up holding bags like this. SLP, man, fuck, it got wrecked. It got annihilated because there was too high of an emission. It was too easy to make those currencies. So because I'm just speculating here, I don't know what it does, but if there is a high degree of minting, if there's a high amount that of the in-game, of the operations of how the game works that's creating and minting these tokens, be very careful. Be very careful because that is the same as selling. It's the same as selling pressure. This is what happened to SLP. Nobody was selling SLP. Well, I guess we were selling SLP because the scholars were getting paid. The scholars would earn the SLP, that would mint it into existence, drive down the price. Then they take their paycheck and what do? They sell it so that they can live their lives. So you got two forms of selling pressure on SLP. The exact same thing can happen with Adventure Gold. Oh, Algo. I like it. I like the dump of it. You know, we're seeing a lot of this, just capitulation. Seeing a lot of capitulation. Here's the process, you know, markup, distribution, capitulation, accumulation. Markup, distribution, capitulation, accumulation. So we're going to go into an accumulation period here on Algorand. It's not breaking out. We don't have a V-shaped recovery, nothing like that. It's going to go into an accumulation because we've had this really large capitulation. The last dump down was 45% move to the downside. So, you know, it's good. If you're bullish on Algorand, that's, I don't really know. Algorand's kind of getting involved in gaming. I don't know a ton about this project, honestly. I really don't. Yeah, you know, we're in the kind of support range. We've printed a higher low. If we go into accumulation and break out to the upside, the chances are we continue this trend and print a higher high. What is Octopus Network? I don't know. Probably something shitty. Octopus Network? I don't even know, man. Let's take a look. There's a couple octopus coins out there. OctoFi, Octopus Network. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Part of Near. Okay. Load for me. Where Web3 happens. Secure interoperability, infrastructure, community. So, you know, it's just a copycat of a smart contract platform. We keep seeing them. They keep popping up. It's, you know, it's more of the same. This is just how the liquidity flows through crypto. Don't ever get married to this kind of stuff, by the way. Ecosystem, there is none. There's no ecosystem, but we can contact the devs to create an ecosystem. My personal way to value assets is through the applications that are built on it. Now, not everybody agrees. I'm not a venture capitalist. I don't take the high risk, you know, wait for a product to be built plays. I just don't. Doesn't even have a rank. It's brand fucking new. How long has it been around? Yeah, I don't buy shit that's illiquid. I don't buy shit that doesn't have a product. $3 million of trading activity, that's abysmally poor. It's not very liquid at all. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna look at a chart. Harmony 1. So, this is the last one, by the way, so stop the tickers. Similar sort of thing that what we're seeing in Avalanche, very similar structure to Avalanche, actually. Let's do it side by side. You know, we had that distribution, capitulation, accumulation, markup. And if we go to 1, distribution, capitulation, accumulation, markup. And now we're just trading sideways. So I think, you know, here's the place to go long. You know, if you are wanting to take a high risk play in a market that's not working to your favor, and you're happy to take profits, you know, if you're expecting this to blast off to the moon and then start taking profits then, no, wrong attitude. But if you're just trying to scalp a few percentage points out of it, then by all means, let's take a look at the daily here. I think it's a pretty decent chain. It's fast. You know, DeFi Kingdoms is very popular on it, but DeFi Kingdoms is losing its luster as well. So there's less of an incentive for people to go over to Harmony. I also found it kind of hard to bridge over to Harmony. I got into DeFi Kingdoms just to take a look. I felt late to the party, so I didn't do anything. But yeah, volume pretty low, not a ton going on. So, you know, alts are really not the place to be right now. We're trying to get the market participants to feel as though we're ready for another markup event. We're ready for altcoin season to begin. And that's just not going to happen if Bitcoin's not cooperating. So we need to change the trend in Bitcoin. Once the market is working to our favor, then we can take these higher risk plays. We can take these lower cap coins for longer style trades. If you're going to scalp 10% out of it, you know, go for it. You can compound those time and time again, but you know, that's not really my style. That's not what I do. I work with the market trends and position on the, you know, position alongside the trend of the market. So as it stands right now, you know, you can definitely have some fun in there going down to the 4 hour. Watch for the break of this consolidation, basically. So getting a nice tight coil. If we start to break out above this level right here, break out above 21 cents, we'll call it 22, just to be safe. It starts breaking out about there and holds and starts becoming more volatile, seeing a change of character, you can take a trade for sure. But, you know, I don't know how much legs. I don't know how long the trade will last, really, is I guess what I'm saying. All right, that is all the time I have for today. If you guys are new here, I want to invite you to subscribe or hit the follow button. We stream twice a week on Mondays and Fridays. And if you're not already in the Discord, join the Discord. We have a really good community of traders sharing ideas, sharing projects, talking about NFTs, talking about DeFi, all things crypto. And we try to keep a level head and try and steer you away from the shit and try and point you in the right direction of things that we perceive to be a little bit more valuable. So if that sounds like you, then yeah, hit us up in the Discord, links below. That's all the time I got for today. Until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.